the Selenium jar files in the project. I added all these jar files in the project. Fine. In case anybody is having difficulty in hearing me, then you can let me know. Alright. So I'll make a new project over here. You can also make a new project by right clicking, going to new Java project. Okay. And name this project like day 2. Okay. And this is the new Java project which I have made. Like yesterday, I'll add the Selenium libraries in this project now. I'll add the Selenium jar files. You click on add external jars. Add these 2 jars which are downloaded. Along with these 2, add the other ones as well. So the Selenium jars will come over here under reference library. Now how do I use these jar files? To use these jar files, you need to have the concept of object-oriented programming very clear. I hope many of you have gone to my website and at least seen the first 2 free videos. Okay, I advise everybody who has not gone through them that go through at least the first 2 training videos. They explain various basic things like loops, arrays, functions, and introduction to Java basically. Okay, so because in online class I have a limited time with me. Selenium WebDriver is vast. I have to cover frameworks as well. So I don't want to waste my time on small things out there. Okay, so over here in day 2 source folder, I'm going to create a new class. New class, and I'll name that class as say laptop. Okay, this is a simple class known as a laptop. Right. Now I haven't created any main function in it. If you don't create a main function in a class, you cannot execute it. Right. The reason I have created this class like this is to explain you the concept of object-oriented programming in detail. Right. Now, what are the properties of a laptop? Right. For example, you can say the company to which the laptop belongs to. Right. Then another property can be the OS which is there inside the laptop. Right. Then int capacity say of the hard disk or something. Right. So these are the various properties of the laptop. Right. Similarly, what all features a laptop has, what all functions you can do with the laptop, what all features has it got. It's got a feature like public void say start. You can start the laptop. You can write over here system.out.println laptop starting. Right. Then public void. Another feature of the laptop can be say hibernate. You can write laptop hibernating. Okay, I cannot execute this class. There is no main function. In order to execute the class like we did yesterday, you have to have a main function. Okay, but this is going to be my main class. I'll execute this class from some other class. Okay, so again the question is being, how do I add Selenium jar files in my Eclipse? Okay, you can right click on day 2, you can go to properties, okay, and go to Java build path, and over here under the library section you can click on add external jars and you can add. Okay, this is how you can add the jar files. Alright, and moreover, people who registered yesterday, I hope everybody got the username and password. Around 6-7 people registered. I hope everybody got the. If you have not got, if you have registered yesterday, please make sure that you have got the username and password to access all the paid videos. Fine. Now, this is laptop.java which I created. It's got 3 properties on the top and 2 functions over here. Right. Now I can create another class named as test laptop, or say user. Simple. Who will use the laptop? A user will use the laptop. Okay. In user class, I'm keeping the main function. Right. So this is my laptop class which is having these features. This is the user class having the main function. Inside the main function, what I'm going to do is that I'm going to access the laptop class, or rather what I'll do is I'll create object of laptop class. Now what do you mean by creating the object of a class? Right. So hold on. No, I don't accept. I don't accept more than 25 people in the training. This space limit will never be a problem in the training. Okay. So right. Now creating the object of the laptop class, you have to do something like this. New laptop. Now what happens when you write new laptop in the memory? What happens is looks something like this. That is this is an object gets created. In that all the properties of the laptop class go. What were the properties in the laptop class? These were the properties like company, OS, capacity. Along with that, start and hibernate functions, they go in this object. Okay, I can create as many objects as I like. I can create 2 objects. So what will happen is that in the memory 2 such objects will be formed. Each object will have its own set of company, OS, capacity, start and hibernate. Okay, fine. But you cannot access these objects. You cannot access these objects directly. To access these objects, you need a handle, or technically we call it as a object reference. Okay, so out here, yes, I'll mail you the recorded URL. Fine. Now object reference. How do you create an object reference? You write over here laptop L equals to new laptop. Then say I'll write over here L1. Okay, L1 will become a reference to an object of laptop class created in the memory. Suppose this is the object which is created in the memory. So what will happen is that L1 will point towards that object. With the help of L1, I can also access the internal things of the object like various properties, company, OS, capacities, start, hibernate, right? Okay, I can write over here L1 dot company equals to HP, right? L1 dot capacity equals to these many bytes. Okay, then L1 dot OS equals to Windows 8. Fine. So I have defined the laptop and I have defined properties to that laptop. Similarly, I can define another laptop. I can define L2 over here, right? And I can make the parameter L2 dot company capacity equals to some different number. L2 dot company equals to say IBM. Then L2 dot OS is equals to say Linux. So this is my separate laptop. Okay. Suppose the other object which is formed in the memory is this one. Then L2 will point towards it, and company will be IBM over here, OS will be Linux, company will be HP over here, and in this the OS would be Windows. So what I want to tell you is that there is just one class, laptop, having single variables like company, OS, capacity. Just by creating multiple objects of those class of this class, I can initialize the variables more than once. For one object, there will be one copy of the variable. Okay. Suppose in laptop class I write laptop starting and I write the company name of the laptop over here. Okay. So when I write over here L1 dot start and I write L2 dot start, the same function is being called, but first it is called by L1 then by L2. So what happens in the memory is something like this, that when I write L1 dot start, L1 calls this start function. Right. When I write L2 dot start, L2 will call this start function. So if start function is accessing the company name, then start will access this company name, this start will access this company name. Right. So when I run this program and I execute it, for L1 dot start it will write laptop starting HP, and for L2 it will write laptop starting IBM. Okay, so this is how the concept of objects it works. Right, with an object you can initialize a class any number of times, and you can initialize all the properties of that class any number of times. Now in a class there can be various types of variables. This one is a non-static variable. Okay, these all are known as non-static variables. This technically, I'm giving you the technical name. This function is known as a non-static function. This function is also known as a non-static function. Okay, so there are some variables which are say non-static variables. There are some functions which are non-static functions over here. Now what is static? If I declare a variable like this, static say int battery count. Okay, now what is static? Technically this variable is known as static variable. Now how is static different from non-static? Okay, now everybody there is a lot of disturbance. Is there a disturbance over here? Are you guys hearing any disturbance in the sound? Okay, Murli is asking after the payment also once the class. Look, Murli, I do not accept more than 25 people. I do not accept more than 25 people in the class. Okay, let me check. Hold on. Firstly, make sure your any electronic device should be near your Rupa, I start a new class every 1 month. Hold on, let me check. Is everybody on mute? Everybody look. Are you still hearing the disturbance? Okay, so fine. I removed my cell phone and the noise is gone now. Okay, now there was a question being asked, that is still hearing. Sairam, just check your headphones because I don't think so other people are hearing. No. Okay. Hearing the noise, I'm not sure why. So what I have done is I have kept two types of variables over here. One is a static variable, other one is non-static variable. Okay. Now what is the difference between static and non-static? I'm going to tell you. Okay. What I did in the user class, I created objects of this class. I created two objects of this class, and through the objects I was accessing all the static things, sorry, non-static things. Okay, so like L1 object had its own company capacity and OS. L2 object had its own company capacity and OS. Right. When I called L1.start, it printed laptop starting HP because the start function over here, it is printing the company name. Right. So for L1 the company name was HP. And for L2, the company name was IBM. So when L2 called the start function, IBM got printed over here. But what about static? Okay, what about static function like battery count over here? Now all of us, we know that I did something like this over here. Okay, now static is something which is not the part of an object. It is residing somewhere in the memory location over here, which is common for all the objects, and all the objects can use it. It is common for all the objects. So remember, static is common for all objects. So if I have to access this battery count, I can simply write it over here. I don't have to use the object, simply class name laptop dot, you will get the battery count variable equals to 1. That means all the laptops will have one battery. Okay, I'm just giving you a very simple example. That is, what is the difference between non-static and static? Static is the part of the class. It is common for all the objects. I cannot write over here laptop dot company equals to HP. This will give me an error. See, it's giving you an error because company is non-static. Okay, it can only be accessed with the object of the class. Okay, so any questions in static and non-static? Any questions? Okay, another question is being asked, is there any difference between purchased videos and online class? Look, if you ask me, then purchased videos are more elaborate. In online class, we have a kind of everyday class which makes you regular, and I also cover a lot of things in that. Generally, I also recommend people you can go for purchased videos and then join the online class by paying the remaining money. It's completely up to you and your comfort. Okay, fine. Question is being asked, can we have static for a method? Yes, Ramya, you can have the static for a method as well. For example, a method like this, public void say charge. Now, charging the laptop is common for all the laptops, so you can simply write it static over here. So when I have to call the function, I can simply write laptop dot charge. Okay. Is there any other question? Any question? No questions, right? So now, it will be at the common location in the memory. In the memory, it will again lie somewhere over here in the common location. All right. Now, I created the laptop.java class and I created the objects of this class. In Selenium, everything is inbuilt. Okay. You have to understand the API over here. If I go to seleniumhq.org and I look at go to download section and out here look at the Java documentation. Fine. Then these all are the internal classes of Selenium which are there. All these are inbuilt. These are inbuilt classes. You just have to know about them. Nobody knows all the classes. That's but obvious. But you can have a good knowledge about them. Okay, hold on. Where is the static object? There is no static object. I haven't talked about static object over here. It is static variable, okay, and static function which I have talked about. It resides at a common location in the memory from where all the objects can access. It's basically the part of the class. It is not the part of the object. Okay, if you declare something, okay, in a nutshell, don't get confused. If something is static, remember if something is static, you can use it directly, class name dot the static variable. Very simple. Okay, take it that way. If something is non-static, you have to create the object of that class to use it. Right? Yeah, Rana, that's more than enough. Okay, these are methods over here. Start, charge. These are functions are also called as methods. Okay, start, hibernate. These are also functions. Functions are also known as methods. Right? So, in Selenium, all these are the internal classes. You have to make the objects of these classes and then work with Selenium. Okay, you don't have to create your own classes and also everything is inbuilt. For example, a class like Android driver. This will help you test your application on Android. Okay, you have to create the object of this class. Fine, I'll tell you how to do that. Hold on. But before that, this is the API of WebDriver. Now, yesterday I was talking about RC as well, and I told you RC is the older version. If you look at the Java docs, if I write in Google Selenium RC Java doc, Java doc means the documentation, the technical documentation. Okay, if you look at the Java doc of Selenium RC, then this is the Java doc. You see how small the RC API was? Although it had a lot of features, but it was not arranged properly. It was not, you can say that, uh, it was not so simple to understand as well, right? But if you look at the WebDriver documentation, then there are a lot of additional classes, lot of features which have been added. Okay, that's why people are going towards WebDriver now. All the new implementations, everything is being done with WebDriver. Nothing is done with RC. Only companies who have their existing projects implemented in RC are using RC. Okay, it's normal for them, right? They say that when the project is stable, it's working fine with RC. Why should we end up wasting resource, time, and money on building it on WebDriver? Right. So that's the only place where people use RC. Alright. Now out here in WebDriver, how do I use these existing classes? Let's start with a very simple class known as Firefox driver. Okay. This class, I'll use it. Hold on. I'll create a new class over here known as first Selenium program. Okay, I'll create an object over here. I'll write over here new Firefox driver. I'll create the object of this class. Okay, initially it will show an error over here in front of Firefox driver. Look, first of all, Java is a case sensitive language. If F for Firefox driver is in uppercase in the documentation, then you have to write it in the uppercase in the Java file as well. D is in uppercase. Okay, I cannot keep D in the lowercase. My program will never run. Okay, Java is a case sensitive language. Please remember. Alright. Now you have to import the Firefox driver somewhere from the reference libraries. In one of these jar files, Firefox driver class is present. You have to import it in this current project. Okay, you can import it by moving your mouse over the error, and you will get the option to fix this error. That is import Firefox driver org.openqa.selenium.firefox. Okay, when you click on this, this class will be imported from one of the jar files, and the error will go. Right. Now I'll tell you where this class file is lying. Make sure that this icon link with editor is clicked, and then you press the control button of your keyboard like we did yesterday for string class, and click on this Firefox driver class. So this will open, and out here this is present. You see this, the class file for the Firefox driver is present out here. Alright, now when you run this program, okay, when you look, what I am trying to archive or achieve over here is that I am just telling you, okay, where this is coming from. Somebody made Firefox driver.java file, converted into a class file, he gave it to you. You added that class file in your project, and you can create the object of it like this. Okay, I'm just trying to explain you this thing. Otherwise, this is of no relevance. but this is the very basic thing, right? Okay. So if I run this now, what the main thing is executing the program. Now if I execute the program, you will see the magic happening. What will happen is that in your PC, Firefox will open up. You see that a blank Firefox window has opened up, right? Yes, we know you need to do this all the time. Whenever you are working with Firefox driver, you have to create the object of that class and import that class. All right. So you are getting an error in my Eclipse. It's create a class of fixed project. I'll have to look at your code. If you can give me your code, right? Give me your code. Only then I'll be able to commit. If at any point of time you are not able to execute the program, then also give me the code or the error which you are getting in executing the program. Only then I can tell you what the error can be. Okay. So this is the Firefox driver, very simple. Now if I run this, I get a blank Firefox window and that window opens up. But if I have to do anything with that window, I have to go to a website, I have to open up I have to click on a link and all, I have to control that window. Then you'll have to give a reference like this, the way we did for laptop. Like I'll have to write Firefox driver f equals to new Firefox driver. Okay. Now with this, if I write f dot, you will get all the functions, the non-static functions which are present in the Firefox driver class. Right. Now this is similar to laptop.java. When I created the object of laptop class and I wrote L1 dot, I got all the non-static things inside the laptop class object over here. Similarly, when I create the object of Firefox driver, although this class is internal inside the jar file, I'll get all the functions which are there in this class. Suppose I use the function get. Okay, hold on, there's a question being asked. We know. So, do I need to import all the classes which I use? Yes, you need to import all the classes. Why? Why are you mentioning string arguments over here? Well, Pratiksha, when you execute the Java program from command prompt, okay, there is a way in which I can execute the Java program through command prompt. When I do that, I can pass over some values from command prompt into this string array. Okay, please have a look. That's why I told you, have a look at the training video 1 and 2 of my website. You'll have a good idea about arrays as well. So this is an array, string array, in which you can pass something when you execute your program through command prompt. Okay, how to import the functions? Look, Sairam, I am not importing the functions over here. I am importing the Firefox driver class. Functions are not imported, class is imported first of all. Okay, out here in front of Firefox driver class, when I move my mouse over here, I get their option import Firefox driver. So I import it like this. Fine. Look, that's what, Sairam, don't try to practice parallelly in the class. Okay, many times people do that. This will not be possible because in the coming times things will not be so simple. Just listen to it very carefully. That's why I gave the video, so that along with the videos you can practice parallelly, and if you have some mistake you can refer to the video again and correct it. Okay, I'm not discouraging you, but this is a better option. Watch it carefully in the class, then watch the video and practice it. Okay, otherwise you'll get stuck in the class and things will not be very simple as we go forward, right? So I can write Firefox driver.get http, say simple website like gmail.com. Now, many times people they do a mistake. They simply write say gmail.com or www.gmail.com. If you do this, your program will not execute. It will throw an error. Okay, let me run this. Let me run this. When I run this, Firefox will open up, but I get an exception over here. Now, never get confused or never get worried after seeing this kind of error. Read it. Okay. It says that component returned the failure code. This is the failure code. Don't worry, we don't need this code. But corresponding to this code, this is the error message: NS error malformed URI. That means your URL is not correct. Okay, you in Selenium it is mandatory to give the protocol. Don't forget to give the protocol, whether it is HTTP or HTTPS. Fine. So give the protocol. Now when you run this, it will open up a Firefox and it will take the Firefox to Gmail. Alright. Fine. Now on Gmail I have to identify various elements and all. How do we do that? I'll take it up slowly and steadily. Right. So what I want to say, you create the object of the class and you get all the functions and the features which are associated with that class, with that object. Okay. Now how do I find which function does what thing is done with which function? You can find it out by what is the feature or what is the operation of each and every function by going into the Java documentation of Firefox. Right. So I get command, a display command like system.out.println. I cannot understand your question, Sairam. I cannot understand your question. Right. So what I mean to say is that this is the Java documentation. In this you can go and find out all the functions and features of Firefox driver as well. But the better thing is that instead of you going to Java documentation again and again, right, import the Java documentation into Eclipse. That will help a lot. And that's what we do practically. Don't visit seleniumhq.org and open Java docs from here. Import this documentation into Eclipse. How do you import it? You right click on it and select copy link location. Fine. Copy the link location of this Java doc. Go to your project. Fine. Go to your project. Go to the properties of your project. And under the libraries you have all these jar files, right? Okay. One of the jar files is Selenium Java 2.x.jar, whatever is the version you are using. Fine. Under that, there is a Java doc location. You can say link or option. Fine. Edit it and paste the URL here. And remove index.html from the end. So what I did, I copied the link location for Java doc from here, moved over here and pasted the Java doc location over here, removed index.html. That's it. Click on OK, click on OK. Now Java doc is imported. If you move your mouse over Firefox driver, you will see Eclipse will smartly display that this is the Firefox driver. If you write f dot, you'll get these functions. If I click on say the get function which I use, this will tell me the description from the Java documentation. That is, it loads a new web page in the current browser window. Or suppose if I click on the function like close, closes the current window, quitting the browser. Right? So I can get the description of each and every function inside Eclipse. So I don't have to run to seleniumhq.org again and again. Okay, this is the added advantage. Right. So now this is about Firefox driver. Now what about other drivers? There are other drivers as well. driver like Chrome driver. Okay, I'll just comment this code. If you write double slash in front of line, it gets deactivated. It is commenting. It's there in every programming language. Fine. If I create the object of Chrome driver, if I write Chrome driver C equals to new Chrome driver. Okay, and I import the Chrome driver over here. Fine. Now, when I create the object of this internal class Chrome driver, I hope the Chrome should open up, and when you run this program, it gives you an error. The path to driver executable must be set by WebDriver.Chrome.Driver system property. Oh, hold on, I'll tell you. You write over here, for Chrome driver you need to download an exe, chromedriver.exe, and then work with Chrome driver. Okay, you go over here on seleniumhq.org, third party drivers. This is the browser Chrome, and you go to this download page over here. For Chrome driver you need to download a separate chromedriver.exe file, and with that you can work with Chrome driver. So depending on your OS and laptop or desktop configuration, you can download it. I have this one, and I'll download the zip file. Hold on. And I'll keep this, say, in my G drive. When I extract here, I get this exe file chromedriver.exe. Don't run this. This is not for running. What you have to do is that you have to write the command system.set property. You have to set this system property webdriver.chrome.driver and give the path of that exe. That is, in my PC it's in G drive, chromedriver.exe. In Java, when you give the path, you have to give the full path, right, along with separated with double slash. Okay, so you set the property of chromedriver.exe. Now when you run this, Chrome will open up. You see this? It's mandatory for Chrome driver. Okay, and make sure you give the correct path. Many times people they end up giving the wrong path. All right, and you can use the same function Chrome driver object c dot get http in gmail.com. So when you run this, yeah, we know that I'll tell you. When you run this, you get this thing. It navigates to Gmail, and in Eclipse you will see a message gets printed. Started Chrome driver on port. Every driver runs on some port. Chrome driver is running on 63209 on my machine. This is what the information is printed by Chrome driver. Okay, if I refresh my project, right? Okay, in this version they have stopped it. In the earlier versions of Selenium, you used to get a log file as well for Chrome driver, but that was not of so much relevance for beginners. But in the earlier versions, you used to get it. In the current versions, you're not getting. Fine. So this is about Chrome driver. Similarly, there is a class known as Internet Explorer driver. Okay, you import this class as well. Look, if you hit the Control plus Shift plus O of your keyboard, everything will be imported automatically. If I delete all the imports, okay, I'll get the errors. If you hit Control Shift and O together, all the imports will come up automatically in Eclipse. This is the shortcut. Okay. In case of iDriver, again, you have to download an exe file. No exe is required for Firefox, but for iDriver you have to download an exe. Depending on your from here you have to download. Depending on 32-bit I or 64-bit I in your machine, you have to download the exe. I'll download it. Hold on. So similar to Chrome, you have to write the line system.setProperty WebDriver dot, instead of Chrome.driver you have to write I.driver and GDrive hold on, in my PC it is iDriver.iserver.exe. Okay, you just have to download it once, then you can use it in multiple projects. You just have to have it on your hard drive. Okay, now if you are using, look, I am using the server operating system to take this class. I have i6 with me. I don't have i8 or i9 or i10. If you are using i8, 9, 10, you have to turn off the protected, or you have to bring the protected mode to the same level. I suggest turning off the protected mode. Just go through this topic, turn off protected mode in i8, 9 or 10. Just follow these steps, turn it off. Okay, the basic thing is with Selenium you have to bring the protected mode to all the levels, to the same level, right? But I suggest that there are 4 levels over here in your you will see internet, local, internet, trusted, restricted sites. For all the 4 levels which they have described, hold on, yeah, for local internet, trusted sites, restricted sites, you have to keep it at the same level or turn it off. Very simple. Okay, so just follow this thing, and in i8, i9 also this will work. So if you run this code, I'll just comment the Chrome part, and you see that my i6 has also opened up. Fine, it's throwing an error. I'll tell you later on how to overcome the error, but it works. Okay, it works. No, it's model dialog doesn't open. Fine, that's not a big deal. So basically, what I wanted to tell you is that this is how you create the objects of the internal classes. Now there are many other classes as well for whom you need to create the objects and all everything. Right. So a question is being asked, why in Chrome it is. I cannot understand you. In Chrome it worked expectedly, Sunil. It opened the Chrome and it navigated it to Gmail. If you look at this, if I run this, it will go to Gmail. It's not going to some other page. If you look at this again, initially a blank page opens up, right? Initially the Chrome, okay, that's the proxy. Selenium works on proxy, right? First, this is the, you can say, the content type of the browser which is written over. Okay, this is how Selenium works. Okay, it's not that it's navigating to that page. It opens it directly. I'll tell you tomorrow, right? About Firefox as well. If you look at the Firefox which is opened by Chrome, it is very different than the opened by Selenium. It's very different than the Firefox which is there on your machine. Okay, right? So I told you about the 3 drivers: Firefox, Chrome, IE. Now various questions arise in your mind that if I have to click on a link in Firefox, will there be a separate function in Firefox to do it? A separate function in Chrome and a separate function in IE? Will I have to learn the properties of all these 3 classes or something? The answer to that question will be answered tomorrow. right? When I teach you the concept of interfaces in object-oriented programming. Okay. Yes. Yes, you can. You can work on that. Okay, I'll run I. It's I6, so full of errors, right? So this will print initially. This is the initial start. It starts on a local port 58269. It runs it as a proxy. Okay, I'll again run this, and you see that if I write over here I dot get this URL, it will go to this URL as well. It's I6, right? It's a headache, and it's server operating system, right? So now I'll continue from here tomorrow. I'll tell you about interfaces. If time permits, I'll also tell you about object recognition and all. Fine. So this is the very basic. Okay. Now tomorrow I'll tell you about the architecture of WebDriver, basically. How the initially, what is the root of the architecture of WebDriver? Okay. So if you have any questions, please feel free to ask me right now. Look, if you have made up your mind to join the class, you can go to my website and there is a contact trainer link over here. You can click on this contact trainer link and you can fill out the form and send me a message that you want to join the class. Make sure you mention your current email ID and contact number on which you are available. Okay. So that's how I tell people how to join the class. Just send me a message through this contact trainer link. Okay. Question is being asked: what is the difference between paid classes and videos? Look, in paid classes you have an interactive session, you have a regular session. In videos, it's not an interactive session, but videos are very elaborate. In classes, I agree, I have a limited time span, so I go a little fast. Okay. No, Rupa, in the trial period, you don't get access to the paid videos. For the paid videos, I need to make the payment to the hosting providers. That's why. Okay. You can access the free videos which are there on the website. Out here, you go to this link and then you can click on the play now button. There are few videos which are free, or you go to the home page and you can have a look at the free Selenium videos on the top. Okay. Yes, Vijay, you can turn off the protected mode. It's not basically turning off. You have to make it at the same level. Yeah, the content of paid videos is more than that of the class, obviously, because in the class I just take around 20-25 hours, but in the paid videos you have all these topics. But in the class, along with the class, I'll give you access to the paid videos as well. Okay, I hope people